Welcome back, everybody, to Hbtv, the show. I'm your host, Harry Bulgarin. If this is your first time to be joining us, thank you for your time. And if you are a repeat viewer, do appreciate the love and support that you guys have been giving throughout this whole time. Again, we're here to, inspire, influence, educate, and empower. And that's what we do. We bring on guests who are doing that exactly in our world community. Again, not just in the South Bay, not just in America, but, across the seas, all over the place. So, been very blessed to connect with a lot of these people who have been on the show. We did hit another milestone for the Instagram account. We hit that 100 followers and subscribers. So thank you very much. I didn't think we would even get like 10 to 15, but with your guys' help and sharing and just getting the word out there and having these wonderful guests come up here in the show via Zoom and talk their story, talk about what they've gone through and their journey. It's been a wonderful journey for me. I'm even having the chance to reconnect with some old friends and family back from like the junior high school and high school days. So looking forward to getting those guys on the episode as well. Tonight we have another great episode. We have Dr. Hector Lastra coming on board with us. He is a medical doctor, practices pediatrician. He's a pediatrician, I'm sorry. And he's going to talk to us a little bit about the most important topic today, just like my wife has said in the chat, COVID-19, and specifically in his area where he practices medicine and with pediatrics. So I want to pick his brain. I want to get what he thinks about it. I want to hear the science behind what he's going to talk about. And I invite you guys, while Dr. Lastra and I are chatting up, please hit us on the live chat. From time to time, I'll look back at the chat right now. I see my sister-in-law Agnes just jumped on. What's up? But yeah, ask some questions. We want to pick Dr. Lastra's brain since he's here joining us and he's taking the time to do that. I usually broadcast live on Sundays, but today, Dr. Lastra got back at me and said, "Hey, let's go and do this." He's fired up. I'm going to jump on and go live whenever I can get that guest. I'm just going to go ahead and do it. It could be at 4 a.m., could be at 2 a.m., it doesn't matter. So we do appreciate you, Dr. Lastra, coming on board in a couple. I should have him in the Zoom about 6:25. Again, I'm just going to talk a little bit, play some music, some hits, some fire tracks from our next guest who's happening to be here tomorrow. It's going to be Selective Fade. He's a producer, was a DJ for many years. He's one of the guys I'm going to have a chance and opportunity to reconnect here on my show, on the show, with you guys. So looking forward to talk to him a little bit. So I'm going to play some of his break beats, some of his tracks that we're going to highlight, especially tomorrow. And we're going to delve into his journey and just talk about the process, how he got to where he is today. Speaking of break beats, my wife, I don't know if you guys follow her, if you guys are friends on Facebook, because that's the only thing that she has. She did post a really cool thing about DJing, Drunk History. It's a little series, I believe, on YouTube. She watches it more than I do, and I always get the links. But the one that she forwarded to me today, or tagged me in today, was Questlove. And he was talking about the origins or the history of DJing, break beats, scratching, and things like that. Obviously, everything started out there in New York. So it's very cool. Check out her link if you guys are on Facebook, or just go ahead and YouTube that. Drunk History, I believe, with Questlove talking about DJing. So yes, we're going to play some music, get into that a little bit, get into his break beats, and then, I love music. I love playing music. I like trying to produce it. I like trying to play the ukulele and the guitar. So it's very it hits my soul in very special ways. Music has been a part of my life for a very long time, and so that's why I do play some of this music that I have, and I try to play, records and tracks that are not under the label, so I don't get dinged by the algorithms and YouTube and threatening to shut me down. But I hope you enjoy the music that I play. A lot of it is hip hop, but I would love, again, if you have any people in your network, friends or artists, musicians, singers, and they would love to get on the show. Would love to talk to them and highlight them. And if they're too shy to get on the show, because not everybody likes to be on camera or wants to be on camera, and if they're okay for me to share their music on subsequent episodes, I would love to play their music and showcase that. So DM me, message me, hit me on the text if you got my number, but definitely in the chat, definitely put some comments down or DM me in Instagram, and love to connect with all those guys. Speaking of that, so I'm just gonna go ahead and get to some music here. Thank you for your time, your eyes and ears. Do me a favor, if you haven't already, if this is your first time watching live or on the recorded version that's going to be posted in YouTube right after this, please subscribe, like, and share, and hit that little bell, because as you know, sometimes I do go off schedule from my Sundays to go live, and hitting that bell is just going to alert you guys and let you guys know when we're live. But if not, hit that the recorded version of it when it gets posted. You can reach it directly from YouTube, or please visit harrybulgariantv.me. There's a link there that goes straight to the channel for the YouTube. You can see partners that I partnered up with, either small businesses or mostly all small businesses that we freaking friends and family. But check them out, follow them. One of them is at Future Unlimited Media. Check his stuff out. Philly Phil, that's my brother right there from Chicago. He's putting out some great content out there, and hit him up if you guys need anything out there to be done. Anitra Creations. Just today, my sister picked up some stuff, some baked goods and some other things, I believe. And actually, I got to get my little niece's links and information, because she just baked 2 dozen of the greatest cookies you'll ever eat. Some M&Ms and some chocolate chip cookies as well. So I'll put that in the description and get their number and help her out. I think she's in 4th grade now, but she makes some killer cookies. But anyways, go check out the partners there. We're going to get more partners as we go along, as we keep on growing. We're going to, I'm going to reach out to a few people to be brand ambassadors, and they can wear the brand, Hbtv, and whatever other gear that I'll be putting out. And thank you again for supporting my channel. Thank you again for supporting my brother Phil Uranza, Future Unlimited Media, for buying the shirts that you guys did purchase. Please send me a picture or tag myself, HBTV, or Future Unlimited Media as well. So check it out. Sit back and relax. Enjoy some of the music that I'm gonna be playing here. And in a little bit, we'll get Dr. Hector Lastra on the Zoom, and we're going to talk a little bit about COVID-19 and how it's affecting the pediatrics scene there. Okay, so stay tuned. Again, you're gonna be listening to a couple of the break beats from Selective Fade, who's gonna be our guest tomorrow. So make sure you tune in tomorrow for that episode at 6 p.m. Again, you're listening to Selective Fade. These are his tracks. He's going to be our guest tomorrow.
Yeah, it's that cabin shit. Wanna be that young to C-A-P-O window. Representing it stronger, putting it down for the Long Beach and San Diego as the days go. Recognize that slowly, but for surely. Ones that don't know, ones that know me. Watching me come up with all of the homies. It ain't no questions, definitely ain't no half stepping away on full court present while I'm West Coast repping. Continuously spinning that shit to keep you soaked. My big host put me on game, so it's a must not to stay broke. Man, I'm young, flying, skinny with a gang of hoes that wanna get with me. It's gotta be the island that in me. I'm focused, destined to come up major. Keep on climbing the floors in front of you bitch ass haters. It ain't no thing, no. I know you be loving the way I do this shit. I'm cool with it, smooth with it, the way I act a fool with it. But nevertheless, I'ma keep it poppin' with finesse to keep you sprung up off these flows that I know will keep you winning with that feeling that never felt before. As I slide through, getting much love from groupie hoes. You know how I do, mashing. Plenty of dash from people that I'm attracting, keep it cracking. Never know how that Henny got me acting as I'm faded. Hitting it with that lethal penetration as my pockets inflated. That's how we doing it, calibrated shit, I'm clowning. Riding with my dime piece in the bucket and she sprung up off on us because my attitude's like fucking, but for real though. Got these haters kicking rocks with steel toes. The way that I be freaking about these beats like I'm an info, shit's dangerous. Ain't no playing me, there ain't no game to this. Plan to take over when my intentions is flagrant. I'm on a mission to squash my competition and keep on dissing you chickens, cause bitches is only out for my chippers. I'm on deck, and homie, you can bet that I'ma keep on spinning these way smooth flows that'll keep your females way wet. Sex, drugs, and alcohol's the life for me. A bitch, if you ain't with it, need to get the fuck up off of me. I show you how I run it, how I does it. A little younger, flip a dollar and a 500. And never love a bitch, just cause I dug a bitch. Never mean I cut her with her to squeeze and hug a bitch. Never get me twisted with them tricks that's throwing tippers to them chickens. Rather be flipping and adding, stacking and gripping. Hoes know the deal, hoes know what's up. Keep that motherfucking faces down and asses up, then mash the cut. Never see me dipping up in the benzo when I'm in the bucket with a dime piece to dig on. Hot the deafness, ho, it's that West kid. All about bitches and money, homie, that's my fetish. And keep it real, trying to stack my chippers to infinity. And keep it hotter than Vegas humidity. You feeling me? If you ain't moving nothing, if you ain't bouncing nothing, shake that ass from right to left. Don't make this shit be hot to death. If you ain't drinking nothing, if you ain't smoking nothing, homie, you in the wrong spot. We came to keep the club jumping. If you ain't moving nothing, if you ain't bouncing nothing, shake that ass from right to left. Don't make this shit be hot to death. If you ain't smoking nothing, if you ain't drinking nothing, homie, you in the wrong spot. We came to keep the club jumping. I keep it popping with hoes that's cold jocking. Game tight, never lose sense, there's no stopping. Fill up my cup, get my buzz and keep moving. Walking through the crowd, looking wild, picking, choosing. Mad mugging while I'm clubbing, looking for something to start rubbing the public and take her home and start fucking. Trying to see who can bounce, pop and shake, so I can get up in the rest and bounce, hop and skate. Who you know they keep their panties popping? Who you know they keep them bumps in your motherfucking trunk knocking? I be the smoothest on my own moving. Playboy, that game comes to me, y'all know gotta come to it, check it. It's 4 hoes, 40 toes, couple bottles and a chronic sec to keep their knees touching their elbows. And it's all over, keep in control, cause my pen game is too strong, man, I be on one. this shit be hot to death. If you ain't smoking nothing, if you ain't drinking nothing, homie, you in the wrong spot. We came to keep the club jumping. If you ain't moving nothing, if you ain't bouncing nothing, shake that ass from right to left. Now make this shit be hot to death. If you ain't drinking nothing, if you ain't smoking nothing, homie, you in the wrong spot. We came to keep the club jumping. Up in the club.
Greed don't mean that much to me. Oh yeah, I'm talking about love more fault than I can see. Oh, now I don't give a damn about a color TV in the living room set with the leather love seat. We need love, y'all, and that's all we need right here, right there. Greed don't mean that much to me. Oh yeah, I'm talking about love more fault than I can see. Oh, now I don't give a damn about a color TV in the living room set with the leather love seat. We need love, y'all, and that's all we need right here, right there.
Sometimes I feel cursed, sometimes I feel blessed. Sometimes I wanna die, sometimes I wanna live. Sometimes I look at my past and reminisce. Sometimes I don't look cause the pain is too immense. Sometimes I think I don't make it this far. Sometimes I look up and I wish upon a star. Sometimes I ask why the world is a ghetto full of agony and pain and to survive is a struggle. Sometimes I just relax and slow it down. Give thanks to the Lord and I crack a smile. Sometimes even beauty can become ugly. Just look at the rich full of money but unhappy. Sometimes I feel weak like I ain't gon' make it. Sometimes I just wanna squeeze it cause I just can't take it. Sometimes I forget and just let it go. Let the music take me, let the music take me.
Greed don't mean that much to me. Oh yeah, I'm talking about love more fault than I can see. Oh, now I don't give a damn about a color TV in the living room set with the leather love seat. We need love, y'all, and that's all we need right here, right here.
Every day someone dies, someone's born. Every day another shooting, someone hits the floor. Every day another homie sent to prison. And I pray, Lord, would you please forgive them? Every day you lose hope and your world is done. Just remember you're stronger by weakness and wiser you become. Every day another struggle at the crossroad. Every day hold on, never let go. Every day another murder in the barrio. Every day another victim to tecato. Every day is hard to see that the truth and the word is what sets you free. Every day spread love, peace, no hate. Don't discriminate, man, how long will it take? Damn. Every day more war, no peace. Every day front page crisis in the Middle East. Why?
Greed don't mean that much to me. Oh yeah, I'm talking about love more fault than I can see.
In the morning time and see my honey in the evening, yeah. She said, get up, get up, get up, get up. She said, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. I light it up in the morning time and see my honey in the evening, yeah. She said, get up, get up, get up, get up. Let's boogie to the sunset, baby.
I wake up, I get up and I get it. 110 South Cali reggae, don't forget it. Let it ride, I'ma glide to the next tier. Smoke it up till we fog up the atmosphere. It's a new year, blessed that I'm still here. It's 100, all my people know I'm sincere. Where's the beer? Light a joint, time to turn it up. Whether you're left wing or right wing, it's all love. Take a drag, let me snatch up a dime piece. I rock a new Laker jersey with a fine crease. I smell good, all the pretty ladies percolate. And if I pull it out, the honeys eat it like a turkey leg.
I light it up in the morning time and see my honey in the evening, yeah. She said, get up, get up, get up, get up. She said, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. I light it up in the morning time and see my honey in the evening, yeah. She said, get up, get up, get up, get up. Let's boogie to the sunset, baby. Nowhere, nowhere else can compare now. From the state where we all show mad love. Cali weather, Cali women, nothing better. From the land where stars are made of. I light it up in the morning time and see my honey in the evening, yeah. She said, get up, get up, get up, get up. She said, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. I light it up in the morning time and see my honey in the evening.
flies when you're having fun. 16 years young, always on the run. With the homies all night, smoking on some. We were so young, wishing we were grown up. Doing dumb shit, taking nothing serious. Sex on our minds all the times, just curious. For the fun of it, for the smell of it. I was a freaky little kid trying to get it wet. I remember those days. Holding hands, falling in love on the first day. As a dad, Spanish fly was my claim to fame. Making music to escape and find a better way. I remember being young in love. I remember playing after dark. We were innocent, young, sipping on a soda. Two little homies standing on the street corner. We were so young, wishing we were grown up. It's funny how time flies when you're having fun. Forever young, living life fast, homie. That was us in the park sipping 40s. White t-shirt, khaki pants, Cortez. Slick hair back with the tres flores. Yeah, you know it, Brown and Proud was a thing to be. Bumping oldies on tapes, not the CDs. Walking to my ladies' pad.
All right, everybody. I think we're about ready to have our special guest tonight. His name is Dr. Hector Lastra. He's an MD. He practices in the pediatrics field. We're going to bring him on, so please welcome Mr. Dr. Hector Lastra.
We good?
We are good, Dr. Lastra. Welcome. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you well.
Awesome,
Thanks
awesome.
for having me on.
No problem. Thank you for your time, for being here. We got some viewers here. I asked them to have some good questions for you, and hopefully, we don't paint you to a corner and put you in a situation with that. But thank you for taking the time. I know you're busy. We just connected tonight on that text message, and you said, "Hey, let's go ahead and get this going tonight." And awesome. I'm going to jump at the chance to get you or any guest that has that during their schedule. So thank you very much. So really quick, Dr. Lastra, to the 12 viewers right now watching live and the millions that will be watching later, can you just give us, that 30-second elevator speech of who Dr. Hector Lastra is?
All right. My name's Hector Lastra. You already said that. I grew up here in Los Angeles in a city called Lawndale. Grew up in the South Bay. Went to UC Irvine for my undergrad. Got a bio degree there. Then went to Kansas for medical school and came back home and did my pediatric residency at County USC. And now I'm here with you.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So you're an anteater. We got a couple of anteaters here that went to Irvine, so that's really cool.
All right.
So doctor, just going to jump right into it, man. Just going to jump right into it.
Yeah.
Okay. So the topic of tonight, obviously, we're going to talk about first is COVID-19, right? So you did post something on Facebook on your page. I believe that I caught it too late, but my wife was telling me, Sheila was telling me that, you broke it down really cool, what was going on behind the science and what's going on with COVID-19, but it was in Spanish, I believe. So, I couldn't get that one. So if you can, just please, give us your take on it. And before you even start talking about it, I just want to tell the viewers and people who are going to view, Dr. Lastra, I invited him on here to talk about the facts, the sciences about it. But, however, do your due diligence. Do not, say or take what we discuss here on this episode as Bible, as Dr. Lastra said this, I'm going to do this because he said it. Go out there and get your own research as well. Make your educated decisions as well. This will just supplement what's happening out there. And, he's the subject matter expert on this in his field, in his area. But still, take that time to do more research for yourself. Okay, so just wanted to put that out there. We don't want to say Hbtv, Harry Bulgarian, Dr. Lastra said go do this. But without any further ado, please take it, Dr. Lastra.
So that video, it's actually in English too.
Okay.
So Sheila's holding out on you. I took it from an article that was written by this. He's a virologist out in Boston, and I'm blanking out on his name right now. But he just broke it down so well. I wanted to put it out there because I love numbers. First of all, I love numbers, and that's exactly what he did. Is he broke it down to how does this disease spread when we look at it just by numbers. So we don't have all the numbers for COVID yet. It's too new. So what he did was every day we get a better and better idea. So what he did was he compared it to how flu is spread, because we know that they're spread very similarly as far as through droplets. More recently, we're finding out that it might be aerosolized too. But let's stick to just the example that author did regarding the droplets. For flu, what we do know is to get infected, you have to reach a certain number of viral particles. So 1,000 viral particles, you reach that number and now you're sick. So if you don't reach that number, you're going to be asymptomatic. You're not going to get sick, in other words. The other thing we know is that people who have the flu, they're breathing out the viral particle at about 33 viral particles per minute. So what he did was, he said, okay, let's assume, for simplicity's sake of math, but also let's assume that COVID is spread with only 20 viral particles per minute coming out from a person. In other words, we're actually going to assume that it's not as bad. Now, if you look at the numbers, we know it's worse than the flu. We're at about 140,000 deaths so far this year. So if you need to get to 1,000, and you know a person breathing in front of you is putting out 30, we're going to assume less, 20 viral particles. Now we can calculate how long we have to be in front of that person before we reach 1,000. And if you do the math, it comes out to about 50 minutes. Now this is just looking at the numbers. Obviously the person has to be in front of you. They have to be talking directly to you. There has to be a certain distance, and you have to be inhaling those particles in. So the next thing we know is that was just, and I misspoke. That's 20 viral particles per minute that you're just breathing out without talking. When you talk, you actually release twice the amount.
Really?
So, yeah. So which makes sense, right? If I'm in front of you, I could barely feel you breathing, but we've all had somebody spit on us while they're talking in front of us, right?
Sure.
And that's just what we feel. There's a lot of particles that we don't feel that we're breathing in. So if you are releasing double the amount, then you make the calculations. That means if you're talking to somebody, it takes 5 minutes for you to reach that 1,000 viral particle threshold. So that was the math, and that was the part I loved. So how else can we release more viral particles? Well, anything that creates more than talking. So if I'm now laughing in front of you, if I'm now singing in front of you, if I'm shouting, I'm going to release more. So it's going to take less time for you to get infected. So how do we stop this? So obviously it's time. There's a time dependency and there's a dose dependency, right? So we have to get to 1,000. So how do we reduce the dose? And that's where the masks come in. What the masks do is now I'm not releasing all those viral particles towards you. Now they're being trapped inside my mask. So that's protecting you. And if you're wearing a mask, now we're really reducing the risk. And I've seen memes where it'll put numbers on. If one person has the mask on, then it'll be reduced by. This is where we don't know yet. So whatever numbers those memes say, I wouldn't trust. But we do know that that's effective. So that's the dose part. What about the time part? Well, if we're in front of a person for less time, then we're also reducing our risk. So, and then the third part is, okay, you have viral particles coming at you. If I'm in a room with no ventilation, it's gonna just go right towards you. If I'm outside, though, there's always more air, so it's gonna be diluted. So there's a less chance for you to get that. And if you're 6 feet away from me, even less. And that's why you always hear about the social distancing. Keep maintaining your 6 feet. So now, knowing all of that, you can kind of figure out who's going to be at higher risk. Well, if I'm with somebody, let's say I'm at a family gathering, and we're, sitting in front of each other, no mask, eating, having some beers, whatever, and we're doing this for several hours, you can see how your risk goes up. Or if I'm at a job, for example, a call center, if I work in like meatpacking industry, they've been heavily hit. Why? Because they work so close to each other. The machinery is so loud. So what do you have to do to talk to each other? You got to shout. You're releasing more viral particles.
Right. And sorry to cut you off, Doctor. And
no
we are getting some questions, which we'll get to in a minute.
Yeah.
But my thing is, so it seems like, okay, yeah, one-on-one, those numbers are cool. But like you said, what about at the gathering? And we'll get to a question about the schools next. We got a question about airplanes. We got a question about, the kids being on the bus. I myself, when someone says 6 feet, I'm going to be more conservative and be like, hey, man, let's stay 15 feet away from each other. You know what I mean? Because, I know the science, I've heard it, you're talking about it as well, but just for me, that's where I'm comfortable. But so you're talking about less ventilation and all that good stuff, right? So you get these people gathering in these huge parties that we see all over the place, all over the nation. And so when you're saying it's 50 minutes it'll take you to be infected, well, 40 people are in the same area. We don't know who's infected or not. Now that time kind of decreases if I'm doing my math right. But
and you're assuming the 50 minutes. Remember, the 50 minutes was just breathing. You're assuming nobody's talking, nobody's laughing. Remember, it was 5 minutes with talking. So and then here's the scarier part, is what they found out, and the WHO finally recognized this, is that it is aerosolized. That's a whole other ballgame. So when something can be passed on through aerosol, it means that usually when you talk, just by gravity, those drops are going to fall to the ground. When something is aerosolized, the particles are so small that they actually stay in the air. So imagine, like, I'm talking right now, there's a cloud that you can't see that's just sitting there. And if somebody is walking into a room with those clouds, that's one of the ways you can be infected.
Right. Again, you're watching Hbtv, the show, with my special guest tonight, Dr. Hector Lastra. Again, if you have any questions, I'm looking to the side here. Go ahead and put it in the live chat. When I get a chance, I will definitely ask Dr. Lastra about that. And we're getting good information here, great information here. I know a lot of stuff you probably heard on the news already, which is cool, but this is just a supplement. What else is out there with Dr. Lastra's information? So you practice pediatrics. That's the medicine you practice. So a lot of us here at our age group, your friends, my friends as well, we're all parents, right? We have a couple of kids that are young. As far as that demographics with the kids in pediatrics, can you tell us maybe some numbers about that, and what have you seen as far as trends going on with that? I know there's been reports now, not just in Florida, but around here as well. I believe that younger kids, school children are getting more infected with the COVID-19. So just wondering if you can speak on that just a bit. Right.
So yeah, a kid can get infected. There's no doubt about that. But what we're not seeing, though, is that they're not getting as sick as the adults are. For the most part, we're seeing one of two things with children. We're either seeing they don't have any symptoms when they test positive, or they have mild symptoms where it looks like just a cold or a flu. As far as what I've seen personally with the group that I work with, and it's the area I work with serves about 70,000 plus pediatric patients. And our hospital, as far as COVID is concerned, our pediatric ward has been pretty quiet and I'm not saying quiet for everything else, I'm just saying quiet as far as complications in kids from COVID.
Okay.
In California, there have been 0 deaths from COVID in people under 19. So why is that? We don't know yet. We're still trying to figure out. There's one really good hypothesis, but it hasn't been proven. But it makes sense. So COVID actually attacks certain types of cells, the angiotensin II cells, because that receptor is where the virus attaches to and then goes inside of the cell. So where are those cells? Those cells are all over the body and they line the blood vessels. This is what the hypothesis was, is that kids don't have as many of those cells. And as you age, you increase the number of those cells.
Well, I gotta, I'm sorry to cut you off. I do have someone chime in on the chat real quick, so I'm gonna go ahead and read that really quick. So one statement from Mr. Mark Okamoto, he's an RN, and he states that kids aren't getting as sick, but they can still be carriers and infect adults. Is that correct?
So yes, but the question is not whether they can or they cannot, but to what degree. And so so far what we've noticed, especially with the younger they are, there was a good study out of Korea, and they followed the beautiful thing about South Korea is their contact tracing. Contact tracing is so huge, and we don't talk enough about it. And we don't do it as well here in the U.S., where basically you find who's sick, and then you figure out all the high risk or all the contacts, and then from there you could start to kind of control the fire. And what they found was that in kids under 9 years old, about 5% of household members were infected. That's a pretty low number. And this is household, this is not using a mask.
Wow.
So one of the things that was hypothesized, or not, I'm sorry, it's not even hypothesized, it's actually fact, which is that first author that I mentioned, that he put out the good study about the numbers. Their little kids don't release as many droplets as adults do. So that could explain that. We know that's not true for flu. For flu, kids are walking petri dishes. They definitely infect others easily, and that's why we recommend the flu shot for the younger ones, not just to protect them, but to protect all those at-risk people that are coming in contact with. COVID, it doesn't seem like it's acting the same, which is good news. Out of all these bad news we're hearing, it's like the one good thing we are hearing regarding COVID is that kids are not getting that sick. And I'm not saying that number is zero.
Yeah.
That number is never going to be zero. But it's a super small, rare percentage.
Awesome. Again, you're watching HBTV, the show, with your host, Harry Bugarin, and our special guest tonight, Dr. Hector Lastra. So still sticking with pediatrics, right? So you work in pediatrics. How are the kids that have underlying health issues, such as like diabetes, cancer patients, things of that nature? Have you witnessed or worked with those kids, and what are the numbers with them getting infected as well?
I don't know the numbers. I don't work with cancer kids. Once you do have cancer, their care is by the oncologist for everything. So I haven't seen any numbers, but I do have plenty of asthmatics, diabetics, obese patients, and we're still not seeing the same thing we do in the adult world.
Wow. That's good
yeah,
news. You know?
I don't. It's crazy. It's like when this whole thing started, I remember saying, yeah, we need to close these schools down because that's how disease spreads very easily.
Sure.
But it doesn't seem to be the case, neither here nor in other countries that have left their schools open. Now, if we open our schools, will it increase? I think so. But will it be significant? I don't know. I don't know. But the numbers so far are promising.
Right. So, I mean, we've seen the guidelines from the CDC, from the White House admin. So I'm sure people can see that and Google that and all that good stuff, right? But just your take on it, like what other measures? Let's just say it does open in 2021, right? For spring. What other measures do you think, or do you even suggest we can do? For the teachers to keep them safe as well, teachers as well, our students, everybody in the school setting. Like what ideas come up from the top of your head that can help out?
I think the American Academy of Pediatrics put it best, and the CDC's guidelines are similar. The first thing they said, and I think this is, I made this post recently that I was okay with my girls going to school because they're so low risk, and it's a very touchy subject, and I get it. But one of the things they opened before they gave their recommendations, they said, look, if rates are out of control in your community, then this is not a good idea. If we're finding new information that kids are good spreaders, then we need to be ready to change. And that was the number one thing they said before their recommendations. Be ready to adjust and adapt because this is new. We're still learning about this. So if one day we're saying, okay, let's have them all go back, but 1 week into it, we're like, whoa, what we thought was going to happen isn't, then the schools need to be ready to readjust. What kind of things as far as recommendations? Masking, obviously. The reduced numbers in the classrooms. We can't have 30 kids in the class. It's too difficult for social distancing, for a teacher to manage. I'm going to tell you guys a story that's kind of unrelated, but I think because I've seen, again, this is a touchy subject, and I'm not saying my answer is right, it's hard, but I do see a lot of, well, you've obviously never worked with kids. They won't pay it. They won't wear the mask. They won't do all of this. And so here's the story. I had 2 autistic patients, and the mom was wonderful. She was amazing. I mean, they were teenage patients when this story happened, and the eldest boy, had just graduated from school. Not only had he graduated, he was the valedictorian of the school. And when she told me that, those kind of things touch me, especially I work in a predominantly Latino community. So just seeing, people of color succeed just gets me every time. But this was incredible to me. And one of the things she'd said to me, and I knew they had succeeded because of her, because of how well she did with them. And what she said to me was, if I had expected less of them, they wouldn't have done this well. And I think sometimes we underestimate kids as far as how well they will do. They've been indoors for. We're in February. We're in July. What is that? Like what? 4, 5, 6 months?
Yeah.
So I think we all get it. I think most people get how serious this is, including the kids.
Yeah.
My girls pointed out. I mean, it's unfair to use my girls as examples because their dad's a doc, and my wife works with the Department of Public Health with LA County, so we're heavily involved.
Yeah.
in this pandemic. So yeah, but I think I think kids will surprise you, and it all comes down also to the parents. If you have a parent that's not all about it, that kid's not going to do it. That kid's going to be like whatever about the mask.
Yeah.
But that's part of it, and I think that has to be part of the plan. Is look, we're gonna have this plan. We're gonna have your kids here, but we're gonna expect them to follow some guidelines, and we're gonna expect you to support those guidelines and to encourage them. So I think that, and if they don't, then maybe you'd be better off doing I think there should be a hybrid. For those people who don't feel comfortable, and that's okay. This is, we don't know all the answers, and if you want to keep your kids home, that's cool. That should be an option.
Sure.
But it should also be an option for the school and the teachers when kids aren't doing what they're supposed to be doing.
Right.
That's I'm not an expert on that.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion.
I just wanted to get your thoughts, Doctor. And again, you guys are watching Hbtv, the show. Thank you very much. I'm your host, Harry Bugarin, and our special guest tonight is Dr. Hector Lastra. We got a couple of comments here on the chat that we're going to get to. We're going to kind of speed through it a little bit, Doctor. But here's some from...
One second before you go to that, because I did want to point out.
Oh, go ahead.
I did want to comment. I didn't talk about the buses. I think the buses, there should be distancing in the buses, and I think the windows should be down. Proper ventilation, I think it'll be safe. So I'm sorry.
No worries. Thank you for plugging that in. All right, so we got some comments here from Mr. M.T. Cullen, another Bishop alumnus from you guys, from Bishop Montgomery. MC, does the doctor suspect these low infections and symptomatic rates in kids will stay low during the school year? You think that will happen? That's
a $1 million question. That's we can only go based on what we know now. I think we will probably see an increase. But the question is, will it be a significant increase? So, we send our kids to school every year, and every year kids die from the flu.
Yeah.
So far, the rates of COVID don't compare, but our kids aren't in school.
Yeah.
So I can't answer that. I could only guess from what I've seen so far. Kids are doing really well. So like I said, I'm okay with them going back to school, personally.
Yeah.
But if I were to see a different trend, I'm taking them out.
What do you think about which was another comment in the chat? What do you think about hand sanitizers? Do they actually really work?
I think so. Hand sanitizers and washing hands has been something that we pediatricians have recommended before COVID. So, respiratory illnesses, I always tell parents, I come from a Latino community where if you don't wear your jacket, you're going to get sick, kind of myth,
Yeah.
And so I always tell parents, look, you don't get sick from the cold weather or the wind or the rain or all that. You get sick because a virus is being passed on from one person to the other. So instead of telling your kid, put on a jacket, the better recommendation is wash your hands. So I will always support washing your hands. Again, kids are petri dishes.
Yeah.
So I do agree with the hand sanitizers. They shouldn't be antibacterial though.
Okay. That's a great point. I got one from my biggest supporter, your friend Sheila. So
Here we go. Let's do this, Sheila.
All right. So she says, once a vaccine is available, what do you say to parents who refuse or don't feel comfortable with COVID-19 vaccines for them or their children? What's your take on that?
That's I mean, even before the COVID-19 vaccine, this is an ongoing issue. You have a population of anti-vaxxers, but I think it's going to be different. I think we're going to have people who support vaccines but are going to be scared that this vaccine came out so quickly. And I think that's going to be the fear from even people who usually support vaccines.
Yeah.
It's hard to tell you what I'm going to say because it's not here. I don't know the numbers. I always like telling parents the numbers. I always myself like going based off of the numbers. So I can't wait for it to be available. We've obviously seen this COVID pandemic has not only taken lives but has crushed the economy worldwide. And I'm guessing I will support it. I usually do support vaccines. The numbers aren't out on whatever vaccine is available yet. So I can't give you a straight answer yet, but I can guess that I will support it. And one of the things I always tell parents is I'm not going to recommend anything differently than I wouldn't do for my own girls. So I see myself giving the vaccine to my girls. So all four of us will take it. As long as, I can't imagine it not being safe.
Right. And again, you're watching Hbtv, the show, with your guest, Dr. Hector Lastra. So just a couple things, just in closing, Doctor. Any other thoughts or any other information off the top of your head that we didn't cover that you would like to give a message out about?
I think for the most part, people who get COVID, for the majority get better. So our fear has to be tempered with what the data is. And the data is that most people get better, especially the younger you are. We do have to protect those that are at risk, the elderly and those with chronic conditions. Diabetes, obesity, lung disease, heart disease. And I think sometimes we need to turn the volume down on all the news and look more at the numbers. Because you can see two things going on when you're looking at just the media. You can see, I need somebody to click on this story because, I need hits. And I need to put this information down because this makes my political party look better. And those are very dangerous.
Yeah.
So what I like, I recently made a post. I have a folder on my iPhone of my COVID apps. The pages I use, I go to daily, and that's what I'm doing. I'm looking at the numbers. Do the numbers agree with what's being said on the media? And currently, right now in the U.S., rates are going up. We have we were going up, we were started to come down, and then we kind of opened the economy, or people just ignored, didn't believe this was real, and now the jump is higher than the first jump. Locally, here in California and LA, I think we did a good job initially. Our rates are going back up, but here's the good thing, is so far, our ICU capacity, because that was the whole flattening the curve thing, right? We got to make sure that we don't inundate our medical capacity, because then we have to pick and choose who gets an ICU bed and who doesn't.
Yeah.
We're doing well in that respect in this state and in our city. They are going up, but we're still okay. We're right around that 50% capacity mark. Other states aren't. Other states are now having to choose who gets a bed and who doesn't.
Right.
You're seeing ICU capacities between high 80s to 100% full, and those are important numbers. That's where things get scary, and that's where we need to kind of back off. We can't talk about school when it's like that.
Right.
We can't. The economy is going to suffer. Here's the last thing that I want to say.
Okay.
And it was one of the things that that author first said. The first author I mentioned was the economy, and I want to say it right. At least get the gist. The economy will go by the way of the biology. You get it? So if we don't fix the biology, it doesn't matter what we want to do with the economy.
Right.
Because, increased deaths is going to hurt the economy. So that's, I'm sure I have a lot of other thoughts. I'll think about them when we hang up, but.
Yeah, no problem, doctor. Just do me a favor, like offline, if I can have the name of that author, and if any periodicals that you've been reading about it, or any journals that I can post in the video description. Yeah, just give it to me and I'll post it there so people can go there and look. But that's pretty much it for our time, Dr. Lastra. I do appreciate your time and your schedule with this, and please thank your family for letting us have you for that 40 minutes here online with us. Would love to have you back to discuss not just COVID, but other things, in the future.
All right, cool.
If you're up to it. And I'm actually trying to get your colleague. Man, Dr. Bayan. So hopefully I can get him, and maybe we all can get together and talk a little bit. But thank you so much for the information, for your time. Please stay well. Please keep doing what you're doing. My hat goes off to you as a frontliner, as helping out all these patients, and especially these kids. And you stay safe tonight and the rest of the weekend, and with your family as well. So thank you, Dr. Lastra, for your time. Do appreciate it.
All right. No,
have a good night, brother.
Stay safe. All right.
Thank you. Thank you very much. All right. So that was Dr. Lastra, our special guest tonight. I hope you guys was able to get some great information from him. I learned a lot myself. And again, I'm not saying, just like in the beginning, this is not Bible. This is not set in stone, whatever Dr. Lastra suggested. Please do your research and make your educated decisions with things. Like myself, I'm not comfortable with sending my kids to school, but everybody is different. Everybody's gonna do what they're gonna do and make that decision for themselves. So again, thankful that Dr. Lastra was able to get with us tonight, and thank you for sticking around and watching the episode. And like I said, I hope you guys got good information. I will sync up with Dr. Lastra regarding where he suggests to view the numbers he was talking about, and also the doctor or the author that he was referencing during our conversation. All right, so that pretty much ends tonight. Tomorrow I'm going to be on again. Hbtv will be on again. We're going to have Selective Fade, producer, artist, hip-hop producer. He's a dad as well. It's going to be great. I get to catch up with him after all these years. So please tune in for that. And again, as always, thank you for your support. for all your support. Again, we hit that milestone with 100 followers on the IG account. We got about 150 for the YouTube. Share it. Have people, talk to people about it by subscribing. If you have any guests in mind that would fit the theme of what we're doing here to inspire, influence, educate, and empower, just giving out that positive vibe. It could be anybody doing their thing, If, like I said, if it's someone's doing their baking goods, and I can help them out and plug them in and talk a little bit about what they're doing, let me know. It could just be anything. Anybody doing their positive thing around the world. We got Zoom on our side, so we can tap in at any time zone and get those individuals here on the show. But couldn't have done it without you guys. The channel's growing, and I do appreciate it. Appreciate the love and support. Till tomorrow, I'll see you guys. Thanks again. Have a good night. Be safe.